Hello, everybody, and welcome. I feel so excited to be here. I'm so very excited for my guest today. And I just wanted to say if you're watching this live or if you are watching the replay, I am so very thankful for you to come here and watch and support the channel. So today I am so excited that I have Vanessa of Vanrey Knits. And I couldn't be more happy to have this person as my first guest of the fall season. This summer, I took many, many months off, and it was such a pleasure and a joy. So I am excited, rejuvenated, and happy to be back along with you. I have lots of things to show you. We're going to talk about Cakepalooza today. We're going to talk about Rhinebeck and see what Vanessa is up to lately. So let's find her. Oh, she's coming. Oh, wait till you guys see her. She has like the prettiest outfit on. Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hello.
How are you, my friend?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me.
I couldn't be happier. I could not be happier that you're here.
Hold on, I'm trying to get.
I love what you have on.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It's my Honeycomb Dreams pattern, which is going to go live for Cakepalooza, and I'm really excited about it. It's been a long time in the works. The thing is that when you are writing a pattern, sometimes when you're like tech editing and you're a size inclusive designer, you want to make sure each size is beautiful,
right.
correct, and fits each size the way that, let's say, the extra small fits the extra large the same. So in order to keep that integrity, sometimes in testing things don't always go as planned. So you have to like zhuzh some things around, and here we are. So now finally it'll be released. So I'm really excited about it. It's a mix of crochet and knitting, which are my two loves. I don't know if you can see.
I can.
Yeah, thanks. And it's made of fiber Genie yarn, which is the most beautiful yarn. So and Genie is such an amazing, talented, lovely soul. So I'm just really excited about it.
I'm so excited about it too. Before we get to that,
Yes.
how about you introduce yourself, and how did you get into crafting? I know, in your bio you went to FIT and you have been a heavy hitter in the industry, but when did you first learn to knit or crochet, or what was the first medium that you learned?
So I think I learned to crochet first, if I remember correctly. I've been doing it since I was a very little girl. I come from a mom who is very crafty and like really amazing with her arts and crafts games. So she taught me when I was little, probably to keep me occupied and shut me up because I was an only child. So I didn't really have anybody to play with. So she taught me. Also, my grandmother taught me as well. And so I think when you're doing crochet, you eventually evolve into knitting. And so it's just something that I always love to do. And I grew up in Queens, New York. And if anybody remembers, there's the most epic yarn store called Smiley's. And it was like an institution. It was on Jamaica Avenue. And my mom went there. My grandmother went there. So it had been there for so long because the gentleman who owned it inherited it from his dad. So it had to be there from like the 40s. You know what I mean? So I got to grow up going. It was like such a treat to go to Smiley's, and it was like this emporium of magical yarn. So I think that's really what, kind of moved me. And then also, I've always been curvy and plus size, and my mom has always been so into fashion. So it just evolved and became my dream to design plus size knitwear, which is what led me to go to FIT.
Wow.
So they had a program, I remember when I was in high school, that you could learn knitwear in England. You could learn knitwear in Italy. So that was my dream, especially since I had never left the country. I had, like, my parents just were working all the time, and we just didn't really get to travel very much. And it was always my dream to travel and see the world. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I can go to school, and FIT is a SUNY, so lucky for me, it was like attainable because students are not like art school is like $1 gajillion. And there was no way my parents were going to be able to afford to send me to Parsons or like a, you know, an art school of that caliber. But FIT is of that caliber. Most of those teachers that teach at Parsons also teach at FIT, which they don't tell you about. So I was super, super lucky to get in, and then I got to follow my dream of studying abroad and learning knitwear design.
Wow. Now, you know, part of your knitwear design, did you work on knitting machines?
Yes, actually, they don't teach you to hand knit in FIT.
Isn't that crazy?
It's bananas. They have an elective class, I believe. I don't know if they have it. You know, this was a gajillion years ago. So when I was there, they had an elective for hand knitting where they would teach you to hand knit. But I didn't take that because I already knew how to hand knit. And actually, one of my final garments, my mom helped me to crochet like a gorgeous bobble collar onto like a wool coat, but that's another story for another time. They don't teach you to hand knit. They teach you to knit on the machine. So you're literally doing a row in like a second.
Yeah, I have a machine. I love it.
I don't love knitting on the machine. You
either love it or you hate it.
No, it was not for me. I love the fact that you could create a garment in like an hour. Like that was amazing. But I really just love like the whole process and the journey of like hand knitting and hand crocheting. Like I think I've had a really challenging year this year, and I have to say, if it wasn't for hand knitting and crocheting, like I don't know how I would have gone through it. It really helped keep me grounded, and I think like the tactile nature of it like makes you stay in the present. Whereas like with hand knitting, when you're knitting on the loom, it's like great, but like, you know,
I know
passes and it's super fast and then it's done.
I usually do. I call it Franken knitting. So I'll do, you know, like the top of a sweater, or if it's top down, or you know, if there's something funky, I'll hand knit that, and then the stockinette, which I don't say the boring bits because I find there's no boring bits in knitting. I'll stick those up on my machine only because you know, I have to get it done, right? And I happen to be a little bit of a procrastinator by nature, so I kind of wait till the last minute. Like, I could totally hand knit a sweater in 6 days and block it and send it to the place. I totally can do that. So that, well, aren't we both Virgos? Are we?
No, I am a Libra. I'm the day after Virgo. Right. But I'm sure I have some Virgo tendencies, but like bangs, you know, we're definitely
bangs for life. We've always bonded on our bangs. Are you the 23rd or the 24th? Yes,
I'm the 23rd. My dad was the 24th. My son and I are both the 23rd.
I'm the 22nd.
That's bananas.
I know. That's
happy belated birthday. And your son's birthday's today.
It is.
So he's a Libra.
He is a Libra. Can you believe my son is 26 years old?
No.
I can believe he's 26. I just can't believe that I have a child that's 26.
Well, I totally get that.
When I look at him, I'm like, of course he's 26. He's a grown man, you know, lives in Manhattan. But I'm like, am I old enough to have someone that's 26?
No, definitely not. It's
not
like
in my heart.
No. It's like that scene in Father of the Bride where she's like, Dad, I'm getting married. And she's in her 30s, I guess, and she's telling him this. And then he looks at her and she's little. So no. And you're definitely not old enough to have a 26-year-old. I'm definitely not old enough to have a 7-year-old. So we're good.
Oh, that's so good. That's good to hear that I'm not the only one that thinks that way. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, I wanted to, first of all, show people. This is what you have on.
Yes. Look at your technology.
So I just think that is spectacular. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because as a plus designer, and I don't like to say plus, I like to say designer of every size. I know that people understand it a little bit more when it's plus size, but what is the biggest takeaway for you, or the biggest thing that you want knitters to know, or crafters, any kind that you're talking with a garment, that when they're dealing with it, when they're looking, I don't know how to put it, but what's a big takeaway for you? The difference between writing for a woman that has a 60-inch bust to a woman that has a 30-inch bust?
So the takeaway for me, living in a larger body, is that you have to try to keep in mind that even if you are in a smaller body, all bodies are different. Whether they're plus size or they're straight size is what I've been taught to call them in the industry. The thing is that you could be a smaller size body, but it's completely different than another smaller size body. Just because you're in a smaller body, you could have smaller tatas and like wider shoulders and vice versa. So the same thing with a larger body. You know, we don't all gain our weight or have larger bodies in the same way. Like I myself have small shoulders and things constantly slip off my shoulders, which is so annoying. And then I have like, you know, a fairly larger bust and then I go in a little. But like, you know, I have a friend who is like, you know, shaped completely differently. The thing that is so beautiful about knitting and knitwear is that the knit curves and contours to your body. So like there's a lot of margin for room there to play with because you don't always have to be exact. You know, you have to keep in mind though, like I'm also a smaller plus size person. So even though I'm in a larger body, I'm short. So like my arms are much shorter. And so a lot of the time, you know, my sleeve length is going to be shorter. So yeah, I have to keep that in mind for somebody who's in a larger body who might be in a taller body and their arms are super long, you know? So I think it's not that you have to keep that in mind as a plus size designer. You have to keep that in mind as a designer, period, because every body is different and special and wonderful. And, you know, that's just the whole point of designing. Like, you really need to be aware and mindful of people's bodies. So, you know, and I particularly design my patterns where normally I think if you are a designer, you start with a smaller size and then you grade up. I like to start with my size and grade out.
Same.
So I find that really is more helpful to be more concise with body shapes. Like I take into account, you know, measurements and such, but in the same breath, I think it has helped my patterns to fit better because I'm grading out instead of grading up. Because sometimes, you know, when you're plugging those numbers in for tech editing, they're just like literally just getting wider and wider and wider and wider. And that's not how a body grows. A body doesn't grow out or, you know, obviously each body is different. So you have to really keep that in mind.
I'd love to hear it. You're singing songs of love and praise because you know, my biggest thing when I go to teach somewhere is, and it's usually, I'm usually talking about changing existing patterns, right? So changing them to fit you. And my big takeaway that I like to tell people is that a plus size woman, oh, see, I'm backwards, from here from the top of her shoulder to the bottom of her arm side here is not that much different than a smaller sized woman. Okay, because you know, we don't have like super extra length here. But what happens is when those numbers are plugged into patterns, you know, sometimes I've looked at patterns where the armhole depth is, you know, 18 inches.
I know. And you're like,
myself, this girl just ratioed, baby. She did not take into consideration that, you know, plus size women, what we need is, or, you know, whatever the size is that we need a quicker rate of increase than a smaller size. So so that's always my takeaway. Like, and I usually have people, let's measure it and see the difference. And I love that it's like plus or minus 3 inches. Well, when you look at patterns, that's not always the case. And if you don't want to walk around with, you know, flappy, huge pieces of fabric underneath your arms, which actually makes it look that it doesn't even look like the same shape as that
No.
model has on. So I also, because I have been several sizes in my life,
Yes.
I also am very cognitive of writing the pattern. I believe the pattern should go up to size 48 and then have another
Yes.
set of patterns.
Yeah.
I know Jamie Hoffman does that of
Yeah.
Natasfi. But anyway,
And
so
don't you do a class on this as well?
I do teach a class,
Which I think is amazing.
Well, I think, for me as a designer, I've always been able to look at a pattern and change and tweak it a little bit
Yeah.
to make it look the way I want it to look on my figure.
Yes.
And I realized working in a yarn shop how important that is. So, so it's been great. I've loved teaching the class. I love when people come to Cakepalooza and they say, "Kimberly, measure me. I don't really know what I should be." And one of my favorite things is to say, take your favorite sweater or shirt that you feel beautiful in, that you love, you don't have any weird feelings about yourself. And when you look in the mirror and you're like, "Yeah, girl," take that garment and measure it. And
Yes.
that's the size that you want. A lot of
Yes.
times it's a lot smaller than what you think.
Oh, for sure.
And hugging our bodies and in the right way is
Yeah.
so much more flattering than a
Yes.
ton of fabric.
So true. And when you live in a larger body, there is this like notion that you need to almost like wear larger clothing when in reality you need to wear more form-fitting clothing to show off your curves and it's so much more flattering, you know? So that's such a great idea to pick because the worst thing in the world is to spend that money on that beautiful yarn and spend all that time and then you knit this garment and it's swimming on you. And it's like
It's
heartbreaking.
so frustrating. I mean, I'm wearing this is my new release, the
It's
derby
gorgeous.
tee.
I love it.
Isn't that cute little
Yes, I love that detail.
and then this is this is actually an added ruffle that if the pattern has, if you don't want sleeves, there's a sleeveless version, but the ruffle just comes up right here. Oh, it's so cute. I didn't like prepare a slide, but this is called the derby tee. So it was released this week, even though it's a t-shirt. What I like to do is add long sleeves onto all of my things. So a long sleeve version will be coming in a warmer, this is linen and wool, but I mean I'm gonna make it in a wool in a fingering weight because it's my jam. I love it. And I love this neckline.
That neckline is just so beautiful.
I'm gonna tell you, I was giving myself snaps. I stood up and twirled because I was so excited.
You should. That neckline is gorgeous. And you are so prolific at designing like chic pieces that you have on rotation in your wardrobe that you want to wear, all the time, every day, that are effortless. So like it's a joy to knit them in like that linen or that quality yarn because it's going to be an heirloom piece that you're going to be wearing all the time. So
thank you, Vanessa. Aww. And girls unite. Okay, so you have struck out on your own. When you say this has been this last year has had a lot of ups and downs.
Sure.
The up for all of us is that you have struck out on your own, and I can't be any more proud of you. The one thing that I wanted to talk about is you created. Well, let's show everybody. You created a box.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. So I did my first knitting experience launch with my bestie Danny. So she's not here, but Danny, aka Gemma Darlings, and Fiber Genie. Fiber Genie is Genie, and that is her gorgeous yarn. We did a collaboration, and Danny and I have been working together behind the scenes. It's as an entrepreneur and someone striking out on their own, you're doing everything on your own, and it's like, from putting a website together, from putting a newsletter together, just social media. I don't know if you've ever seen the TikTok where it's like they did a thing where like they introduce you to the departments of the company and it's the same person wearing different hats. So
Yes.
that's what's up. But I have my angel Danny by my side, and if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have really been able to get through this year. So she has been like an integral part of helping me bring Vanrey to life. So together we brainstormed and we wanted to do like a rock themed box. I think this is going to be the theme for future boxes. So we also wanted to do a play on words. So like the Stevie Nicks experience, because her name is Stevie Nicks, and we just thought that was pretty clever. And then we wanted to do like she's very Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks, if you don't know of her, is this rock goddess, and she's very like witchy, and I figured we should have some witchy vibey things in the box, so we came up with like a little manifestation candle that has herbs and semi-precious stones, and then I threw in a little amethyst crystal point and a little ceramic dish for the candle, and then matches to hold please, I have a box here.
Oh, yay!
They're all sold out now, but this is how it came. It came in this little box right here.
Let me make you bigger. Go ahead.
And then when you open the box, you find your fiber Genie yarn that we collaborated on. And I created these little handmade chakra stitch markers. So they had semi-precious stones. And Danny and I created the labels, and we printed them out. And she also created these little notions pouches, and she did the graphic where Stevie Nicks is holding a ball of yarn. So, and then I made another little progress keeper situation here. And then when you open the box, you get your 2 skeins of yarn to make this shawl. And the Stevie Knits White Winged Dove shawl was inspired by Stevie Nicks because she wears shawls all the time. On stage, she has like a collection of over 200. I think she has a vault for them. It's bananas. And then inside your pouch, you get your little ticket for your experience. And then, on the back side, it has all the information of what to expect. And then I worked with Tuft Woolens, which is one of my favorite companies. And instead of doing a like bespoke scent, because I love perfume so much, but my favorite smell is like their sugar skull, which is like a cotton candy vanilla smell. So I was like, they already nailed it. So I just want to do this scent because this is my absolute favorite. I always love smelling like a cupcake or I don't know, baked goods. Can't go wrong with baked goods. And then here is the little dish. And then you get 2 of these little candles here. And then you get some stickers and some bespoke matches. And it's supposed to be like an experience. So before we start creating our shawl, we light our candle, set our intention. We have our little crystal. And, here's our little crystal, our little amethyst crystal point. And, I wanted to make it like fun and witchy. It's October, your little stickers. And then we have a private group, and then we had our first community Zoom, which was so fun, and everyone was really excited about making it. And then here is your beautiful.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Thank you. It also came with the stuff for the fringe. I don't have it on hand right now, but it was like a vintage inspired lace ribbon, and then some sequin yarn, and you can add anything that you want. The pattern is now live, so you can always download the pattern and still make your own and use any yarn you want. But I just was so inspired by Genie's gorgeous Sara Silk yarn. That's what this sweater that I'm wearing has on it too. This is the indie dyed speckled version, and I'm going to have skeins of her gorgeous Sara Silk yarn at Cake if anybody wants some. She has some for you, so that she sent really. So, her yarn the Sara Silk is so lightweight and beautiful, and like,
oh, I can't wait.
And it has this like beautiful and ethereal drape, which is what inspired the shawl. Like, I really love a lace pattern, and then Danny and I just worked together to create, this shape. So.
I love it. I
Thank
can't
you.
first of all, I'm not sure everybody knows, but, Vanessa and I are sharing a booth at Cakepalooza. I think is Danny gonna be there?
Yes, Danny's gonna be there, and you're such an angel for having me. I have to say, I'm so grateful, and it's such an honor and treat, and I'm so grateful that we're together and that you're hosting me, and I can't thank you enough.
Well, you're very welcome. You're very deserving, and I know what it feels like to strike out on your own, and it can be very scary.
Yeah.
I've always had my emotional support knitter, Helen, and, it's very nice to know that there is room for everyone in this community, and when you find your people, it's absolutely amazing. So, the other thing I wanted to, talk to people about you is your website. Now, I love your newsletter. I actually really, when I see it come through, I get very excited because it's visually gorgeous. Your wording, it speaks to my heart, and I absolutely love it. So there in the description box, there is a link to Vanessa's website if you would like to go and sign up for her newsletter. She, it's a brand new website, so she's adding things and getting things. So I'm so very proud of you. Let's look at some comments. Do you have any? Oh, so at Vanessa at Cakepalooza,
Yeah.
Vanessa Palooza. Palooza. What are you going to be bringing? So you're going to be bringing Danny, of course. I can't wait.
I'm going to be bringing Danny, my emotional support bestie.
Yes. And what else are you bringing?
I'm going to be bringing some skeins of fiber Genie Sara Silk yarn, and I believe she's also sending me some skeins to create a honeycomb knits designs sweater. Then I'll also have I'll have some skeins from Alyssa because Alyssa is creating a 7 Wonder Shrug sample, which was my first pattern on my own.
Yeah.
And the most successful one because it's like the yardage is like nothing. And it's like a really great piece to like travel piece, so everyday piece to throw on over anything that's like a tank or spaghetti straps. And it just like covers the things that you might want to cover or keep you warm when you need to be warm or cool when you need to be cool. And so since it's such a great design, Alyssa has decided to give me some yarn for that. So that'll be there. I'll have some Tuft Woolens Vanrey Knits Balm, and that's about it. And then I'll have like all my samples of the things that I've been, that I've made this year, like the Fanny Crossbody.
Yes, that is so. Let me make you bigger so you can.
So in our community, I saw all of these gorgeous crochet versions of fanny bags.
Right.
And they were all so wonderful, but so many of my knitting community friends only really crochet like finishing stuff. So I was like, let me make a knit version of that, crossbody bag because it's a fun time. And I use like a leather like yarn. And then my favorite thing with accessories for me is finding the like findings and notions and things that bring the bag design together. So I love finding like zippers and straps and accessories. And so to me, that just makes the design funner. And I have to tell you, I've worn this bag to death. So it's also, it was a fun make. And it's also like really a functional piece to have in my wardrobe. I reach for it all the time. And I'm a bag lover. So I have a collection and I keep going for this. So it's just pretty funny, I guess, because it's hands free and the zipper was easy to like open and close. So all my samples will be there and you'll be able to play with them, try them on. And if you want a pattern, you can purchase the pattern. So I'm just happy to see everybody and squeeze them. And it's like it's the happiest time of the year for us.
It is. It is such a wonderful time, and it's wonderful to see other knitters and get inspired. We are out I do the YouTube channel. Well, I haven't done the YouTube channel a long time. I have to say, I had butterflies in my stomach before.
No, you should do it all the time. This is amazing. I would do it with you.
Oh my God, it's so much fun. But I'm excited because I found something called Streamyard. So we're streaming through YouTube, Instagram, and my Facebook page.
We're on all the platforms.
We're on all the platforms. And, I can do these cool little tickers. I don't know if you noticed that I was putting some tickers up and things like that. So I'm actually really excited about that for the future. I really am. We have the nicest comments about if you wanted to look. But somebody just said, do you know if she made her own shawls, meaning Stevie Nicks?
I don't think she did. I think a lot of knitting friends make them for her and gift them to her, and then she wears them.
That's incredible.
She could have potentially made her own shawls. I mean, crocheting and knitting.
Yeah, she could have launched.
She could have. Yeah, she totally could have had a line of shawls.
Totally.
I don't know. I mean, I know that majority of them from doing research because I was looking at fun facts for our Stevie Nicks Experience Instagram group, and I didn't see any of them being like she created her own. I saw that so many people gift them to her, and she wears them, which is, I mean,
that's a good.
Imagine, I think I'd pass out.
Oh my gosh, I know. Tracy Hennick, hi Tracy, says that she has her Fanny with her. It's her emotional support bag.
Tracy Hennick is my angel of test knitting, and she's just an amazing friend in general. But if it wasn't for Tracy, none of these designs would be possible because she has literally test knit all of them. And I can't I can't say enough beautiful things about her. So.
She is a wonderful, wonderful person.
Yes.
In fact, Tracy, I wanted to show, because I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to do it, but so Tracy, one of my first solo patterns that came out after a little interesting time for me was it's called A Hug for You. And I absolutely love that. And Tracy has always come to Cakepalooza and is taking it off my rack, walking around with it. She's always saying, when you're ready to sell that, I want it. So finally I reached out to her and said, you know what, Tracy, I'll make you one because it's easy for me to do it, and of course she paid me for it. So she sent me the yarn and it's finished and I'm going to bring it to Cakepalooza. But I wanted to say this. I never would have put these two colors together. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about all the knitters and all the things that they do, right? So she sent me this beautiful rust color.
You could just send it to my house. Just don't send it to her. My house.
But look, I know we could meet up. I mean, I'm just a subway ride to you. It's ridiculous. Look at this.
My God.
Oh,
it's like if Tracy and I had a baby, actually, because the purple is like her cup, like that's her signature.
It is so beautiful. And I put it on. It's I hope I keep it
give it to her.
I don't want to give it to her. I want to
get lost in the mail.
I want to keep it for myself, but I can't keep it for myself because it is so gorgeous. Here's the front. For those of you that don't know, it's called A Hug for You. If you're coming to Cakepalooza, I bring mine. Tracy's will be there until she gets there and takes it out of my hands.
Possession.
But it's just one of those great patterns that it's just we went out to dinner and my son's girlfriend, Kate, was cold. And so I said, you know what, why don't you I always bring it with me because you never know with air conditioning and stuff like
global warming.
Look at this.
It's gorgeous.
Wait, I got to stand up.
Yes.
Tracy, look at this. Look at how beautiful it is.
Just the drape is really beautiful. And
this is
who dyed the yarn? Because that color is to die for.
It's Lobby and Amy.
Of course.
I know. It's so spectacular. And today, I wasn't believing that fall was showing up.
I mean,
This morning I went to walk my tiny
it's
Hank and
freezing
fall
this
has
morning, right?
shown up, friendies. It's unbelievable.
It's
But
here,
anyway,
guys.
it is so soft and comfy. So this was called a hug for you. And I don't have it in the description, but I'll fix that. Where can people find your patterns?
They can find them on Ravelry,
Mhm.
and they can find them on Etsy. They're also linked on my website. There's a section where if you tap, it'll take you to Ravelry or Etsy. So you could purchase these patterns on either site.
So cool. So I'm going to have actually I invited Kim and Jana. Have you watched their podcast, Knitting with Kim and Jana?
No.
Oh, they're so much fun.
Oh.
And so they're going to be there for the first this session to meet and greet people. So they're going to be there. I'm also debuting the Lovely Tea, which is one of my most favorited
Yes.
patterns. And Alyssa actually dyed up a specific color.
Oh,
And I'm going to have that in the booth. But what I did was I made a long sleeve version of the Lovely Tea.
Oh, gorgeous.
Look at the sleeves. Wait.
The shoulders on that are my absolute favorite.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm so proud of this. And now that I'm like makeuped and washed, I'm going to take like glamour shots for everything. But boy, so I'm going to have kits for this.
Beautiful.
And then she also
that color is gorgeous too. The color that it's lit up in.
I forget what the color is, but it's going to be in the booth. But I also wanted to make just a little cowl with her mohair dyed in the same color. I still have to weave in there's only 2 ends because it's one skein held double. But check out this, and I've been wearing it when I'm downstairs knitting with my pajamas.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So isn't it so cute?
It's beautiful, and it's such a great transition piece to
you could wear this under, you could bring it wherever you're going. You could wear it over or under a jeans jacket. So when it gets like chilly, you could wear it with your pajamas. You could wear it whatever. So I don't have a name for this, friends. So if anybody wants to name it, stick that in the comments and I will send you a free pattern if I choose it. But this is the same stitch as the one in the Lovely Tea. It just looks different because of the different yarn. And it's so cozy and
gorgeous,
sweet. And it's actually in my studio, it's freezing. It's 60 degrees. I have a short sleeve shirt on because nobody's seen me in the derby tee, and I just without the pictures from a long time ago. So I wanted to wear it. I'm like, bleh. So maybe I'll just leave.
And the halo on that is just like beautiful.
This yarn is so soft and it's just so wonderful. So I'm going to have those new patterns and a couple kits available. I am also teaming up with Long Island Yarn and Farm. Now I'm not going to carry a bunch of her stuff, but what I am bringing are my favorites. And what that is her salve. Now, the salve is one of my favorite things, and her lippy. And the salve, what I like to do with it, not only in the winter when you get like crackety crack, it's amazing for the bottoms of your feet. So when we're standing on our feet all day, and then we go back to the hotel or wherever we're staying, I lather this on my feet and put some warm socks on, and then in the morning my feet don't sting anymore. You know how you get that stinging feeling?
Yes.
Because I will always opt for a good looking pair of shoes over my comfort. Always. I just will. So that's so I'm gonna have some of this there, the lippy that saves my lips, and she has, you know how there's bath bombs?
Yes. I've used them.
Okay.
I've used the bath.
She has shower
melts.
So they are, you know, you put it in, there's a eucalyptus, a lavender, and something else. And they come with this cute little tray. So I'm going to have those too. I'm so excited. I never really have stuff. You know, I started Cakepalooza from the beginning just to kind of like, don't forget me. Like, hi, I'm still here.
Yeah.
But you know, and it's just been, you know, it's evolved to what it is today. And I'm so excited for us to spend the day together. I can't wait to hug Danny. I've never met her IRL, which is ridiculous.
You're gonna love her. She's like, she's an amazing human.
And I'm so excited. Let's see more comments. Is there anything I haven't gone over?
No, I think you've gone over everything. I mean, thank you for also talking about the newsletter. It's such a labor of love. I'm so inspired by like.
Oh, the Fiber Genie's here. Genie's here.
Oh, hi, Genie.
Yeah, the labor of love for anything that you do when you're in this business is a labor of love. And I guess one of the, you know, I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Because I have it sometimes. I know who I am. I know what I design. I know, you know, what it is.
Yeah.
But what happens is you put something out there that you've tried really hard with, like, let's say, you know, the derby tee. And I'm not saying this for people to like run out and buy the pattern. That's that, you know, I released a t-shirt pattern like on the coldest week of the year so far, but I have professionally tech edited. I didn't go to FIT, so I have a professional tech editor.
Listen, I have a tech editor too, but just FYI, it doesn't matter.
Tech editors, you know, like mine is, you know, it's awesome. It's wonderful. And then release day comes. And on release day of this, which I think is spectacularly gorgeous, the next one I'm going to make is just going to be like a cream color with like a really dark brown or even black, like with long sleeves. Come on, girls. It sold 10 copies. 10 copies at a discount of $8, which only is like $7.23. I'm sorry, that's my daughter calling from college. Doesn't even cover the cost of you know, of my tech editor. Right. So I wanted to talk to you about that because you are so different from everybody out there. Do you ever feel that? Do you ever get nervous? Do you ever like sit at dinner and think, why am I doing this?
Yes, not so much with imposter syndrome. I do feel that way sometimes because financially it's really hard to support yourself, in the sense that you can't churn out patterns at a rate where it's sustainable for you to support yourself unless you are a larger designer, like a heavy hitting designer. If you're a smaller designer, you cannot churn out patterns fast enough. For me, you think it's going to take like 2 weeks to churn out a pattern, but no, the whole process, if you think about it, for example, I do my little illustration, right? Mm-hmm. And then I find my yarn and I create my pattern for myself. And then I have my test knitters and I put the call out and they test knit. And usually that takes anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks if you're lucky, because people have lives and they're doing this out of the goodness of their heart and they run into problems and things of that nature. And then, you know, before that happens, you have to send it to the tech editor. The tech editor might tech edit it. And even though I went to FIT, they don't teach you how to tech edit at FIT. They taught me how to hand knit. They did not, I mean, knit on the machine. They did not teach me to tech edit. That's something that you learn by, you know, being in the industry. And I can't tech edit. I know the concept and I've done it, but like, I still feel like that's not my zone of genius. That's not my strong suit. So my other talents are best served somewhere else, where it would take me 9 gajillion hours to tech edit. So that being said, And it's also really hard to find a good tech editor that understands your aesthetic, that understands larger bodies. Not every tech editor can do knitting and crochet. That's something I love to do. And yeah, that whole process takes a long time. So I think it's usually financial when I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I
Yeah.
can't, I have 2 little boys, and, you know, I want the best for them. And it's, you know, that's when I have reserve. But it's, if I could, I would be, you know, I don't, being creative is who I am, and I can't change that. And I sometimes I wonder, like, you know, maybe I should have been a nurse, or like, uh, like gone into a different direction of, you know, that's not this, because but no, nothing is 100%. You know what I mean? And I think that I'm doing something that I love and it lights me up. And I hope that that inspires my children to find something that lights them up, because life is short. And I've done 900 things. I've been so many things. I mean, you wouldn't even believe it. I've done it all. So this so far is my favorite of all of the careers that I've done. And I'm just grateful that I'm here and that everything happened to put me here, because at the end of the day, this is something that I love doing. Uh,
Mm.
so I think in this time as a designer, you have to wear so many hats and do so many things in order to make it viable. So, you know, I've had crochet patterns where I sold 4 copies, 5 copies. So,
Yeah.
and I worked so hard on these patterns, like, and they're both beautifully written patterns. And I collabed with an amazing yarn company, and like Bubkiss, like, my community prefers to knit. Like, my
Yeah.
knitting patterns are successful, but my crochet patterns, like standalone, no knitting, no. I feel
Same.
it's just like this community would prefer to knit. If you want to add some crochet in there, that's great, but it can't be 100% crochet, because they're just like, no. So
Yeah. Back in the early 2000s, I was really involved with the Crochet Guild of America,
yeah,
and I would go to their called Chain Link, and it's like their big thing,
yeah,
their big conference. And I wanted to knit the same sweater. One of the things I love to do was knit the same sweater and write a pattern for knitting and a pattern for crochet. 2 separate patterns, but like
yeah,
the same look.
yes,
And I was shot down every single time. This was the beginning of 2000s, and I thought, man, I really know that I
yeah,
could do this. And Lion Brand Yarn was the first place that said, we'll put it up on our website. Go ahead and do something, and
yeah.
you know, we'll see how it does. And so I was able to do that. I was really excited that happened. But that's way back in the early 2000s. But
No, I think we need to keep trying.
I'm still trying, and I'm revamping things that worked, right? Like,
Yeah,
you know. So, it's just it's one of those things where, I'm excited for everybody's success. I really,
yeah,
really am,
yeah,
because I wouldn't do it. Like, I
yeah,
wouldn't be doing this if I didn't love to see everyone's success.
for sure.
But I don't know. I'm so thankful that you're here, and I'm so thankful that you're in this space, and that,
Thank
you
you.
know, that you have the opportunity to shine,
Thank you.
being exactly you, because that's what everybody loves. And
Oh,
I'm so excited. I'm just so excited.
thank
I'm
you.
excited to share space with you. I'm excited to follow your journey. I can't thank you enough for coming on my YouTube. You know, I felt like this was like the fall opener, you know, like on TV when they have, like, you know, everyone goes away for the summer, and then, you know, in the
Yes.
fall
Yeah, yeah,
they
you come
come
back.
back to premiere.
Yeah,
I just wanted to personally thank you for being on the premiere
thank you.
of my YouTube channel, Knit a Rainbow. I'm so happy that you're here.
Well, I'm honored to be here, and I have to say that I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be able to be on this journey, or, you know, really be myself, if it wasn't for the support that I've garnered this year, and like just the community that has really been behind me and lifted me up and has gotten me through this time. Like, just everyone who supported me through this journey, like, just, kind comments. You know how it is, like, when you have, like, a life moment and then just people message you or just show up for you. I mean, even the friends who are just showing up in the comments for our YouTube, like,
Yeah. So
it's
great.
it's really amazing. It's really incredible, and so I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to be continuously doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for them. And, like, for you, like, thank you so much for having me here. Thank you so much for hosting me at Cake. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. It's gonna
It's
be
gonna be so
amazing.
fun.
It's gonna be so fun.
It
So
is gonna be so fun. I'm so excited. I just can't wait. I can't wait. We're gonna be twirling all over.
we're gonna be twirling. We're gonna be tired from twirling and squealing and
Exactly.
stuff,
My
so
feet will hurt, but I'll have the salve so that I can
it's okay. There's a Dunkin' Donuts over across the street. We'll be
Exactly.
caffeinated.
Exactly.
We'll see all our friends. It'll be amazing.
It'll be amazing. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And everyone watching, thank you for all of your wonderful comments. You can go down in the description box for any of the links that you want, and go follow Vanessa on social media. On Instagram, she is Vanrey Knits, and her website is vanreyknits.com. So I'm so thankful.
Oh, I'm thankful. Thank you for having me. This has been so
Have
much
a
fun.
wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
You too.